Hey, look at this. I just want to come in, do a little bit of one night only, one weekend. Who will hold all the marbles in their hand? Who will get the ratings that is needed to prove a point? Who will win the weekend? And then I was like, you might be thinking I'm talking about like, oh man, is he talking about the Lakers and the Wolves? Is he talking about the Bucks and the Pacers? No, fool. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whether it's going to be any of those participants of the NBA. Whether it's the Nuggets, I was like, versus the Clippers, the Rockets versus Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I was like, whether it's the Celtics versus the Magic, I'm gonna keep going. The Knicks versus the Pistons, or is it going to be the biggest show of them all, the biggest nights of them all? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, or we got Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. I was like, oh Lord, is it John Cena versus Cody Rhodes? That's right, I'm coming with the real matchup: Wrestlemania versus the NBA. That's where I want to see it, because guess what? We're gonna have basically some people gonna be in both avenues. Some people gonna have two TVs. Some people gonna have two different watch parties. Maybe I was like several people gonna be there drinking different drinks, because you got to get rowdy for different ones. You want to be a little bit more calm when you're watching the NBA. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna get riled up. You're gonna get into your team, you're gonna get invested or whatnot. But I was like, there's nothing here like that wrestling, because you got at least about like 45 minutes of the NBA, and you have a chance to win it, or very quickly you out of this game. But guess what? When it comes to them matches, you don't know who's going to win. You have an idea, you have an inkling, you have a thought, but Triple H doesn't let you do that. No. Adam Silver let you know right off the bat. You're like, oh man, I already know about halftime, but I don't want to keep on drinking and drinking. Now I'm mad, slamming against the wall. But guess what? Somebody wins that match, you're gonna keep watching, because you pay for it, kinda. But anyway, no, I really wanted to see what the rating gonna look like for this, just because really on the wrestling side, because most of the time I was like outside of like the Mondays, they try not to really match up against anybody on the weekend. So when they moved it, this extra month, I was like, it's I didn't know what day it fell on, and it falls on, obviously, the first weekend of the NBA playoffs. And I'm like, that's odd. Of just like, you would think that you would want that by yourself, because guess what? They're not going to do. They're not going to go. They wouldn't go up and get the damn Super Bowl. Now, granted, this is not the same thing. It's not the finals or whatever. And also, this is a 7-game series. So to be honest, I think more people are going to watch the wrestling just because it's one night. Yes, it sort of you could replay it, but not everybody watching every single one of these NBA games. You sort of pick it and choose. Like, yes, if you like the NBA, you're gonna be watching all of them. But for the most part, you're gonna be like watching like certain games. Like you will probably watch Knicks and Pistons, but you might only watch a little bit of Pacers Bucks. You might come back to that or whatever like that. I was like watching it later afterwards. You might give you more of an inkling. You'd be like, oh, okay, that is what it is. Where like wrestling, you're like, oh, I gotta say that live. I gotta see what people are talking about. I gotta be in with the whole crowd, that type of thing. So, and it does start a little bit earlier than the wrestling, so it's not always gonna overlap, but it does overlap when the better games are supposed to be played. So, I would like to see the battle between all this. Plus, it will have to be cool, because both fan bases can be insufferable and whine a lot about some stuff that just seems like, oh my God, y'all are nitpicking now, y'all mad about stuff. The NBA like, oh my God, look at the way the media does all this other stuff. I was like, when it comes to the real basketball, they talk about the real basketball or whatever. And then the WWE fan is like, oh my God, why, that's who they want to put into the main event. Why do they he can't even do this? I was like, nobody, like, look at her, all this other stuff. Nobody does it. I was like, nobody got time for all that. When it's ready to come out, I'm just here for the fun time. Funny time. Anyway, I'm basically gonna put most of my time probably into a little bit of WrestleMania. I was like, I could watch that. I watch the NBA off to the side. You can sort of skip some of that. You ain't gotta watch every single play. Where it's like, guess what, wrestling, you can with some match, but I was like, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be glued in. Don't worry, I'm gonna be watching both. But one's gonna sound like I got a little bit more invested time than the other. Plus, I was like, I could piece together a little bit of some of the things. I was like, Pacers Bucks. You know, I'll get that one. That one might get me. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. We'll see how it goes. But for everybody else, I was like, well, who am I gonna pick for the winner? It's gonna be WrestleMania. That's who I'm gonna pick. I was like, I think they'll be out the NBA and all that, or when that metric and that matchup comes out. But until then, we will see. So, the best weekend of them all? No. But best main event of them all? Now to play. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Where y'all at? Y'all on one of these sides or whatever? Are you one of the whiners? Maybe. But hey, we all got something to fight for in life. Till then, peace. Wrestlemania or NBA.